this really sort of weird eye, as you know, that sometimes like looks all weird. So anyway.
Don't worry.
Oh dear. Well, Abi, it's lovely to be talking about Slammer. What is your memory of Slammer and the prosthetics work that you did for Slammer?
Well, there's lots of memories, but I think the best memory I have of the whole thing was just meeting loads of amazing people that I'm still friends with today. And with the prosthetics, I learned a lot, because most of the stuff I did I'd never done before, so it was a lot of experimenting and figuring out if it was going to work or not. And I guess, well, you'll see.
Yeah,
when it comes out.
You'll see. So talk to me about working with sort of head of hair and makeup, Alison Edwards. How does the process work? How does the process work? And just talk me through about what you do step by step when you're dealing with prosthetics for a film.
Well, it was super easy to work with Alison, because I'd met her once before, and she's just great to be around, loads of fun. And she's been a makeup artist for so many years that she knows everything that you need to know. Gave me the lead in that, which was great, because it meant I could use my creative thoughts and she would add to it with her makeup.
The technical side of prosthetics, talk me through, like what are, when somebody wants prosthetics for a character, in this case it's, you could take our lead, Anne Waterman, played by Flora Montgomery, but like what do you do? What's how do you assess everything?
Well, Alison had all of the characters sort of planned out, so she needed Flora to kind of go from being really we made her very spotty, so the first prosthetic was to make her look like she had acne, and then she just needed the add-on, so it was a lot of acne stuff and kind of dark circles under her eyes to make her look really tired, and then it progressed into acne scars, or like slightly less acne, and then acne scars. And
isn't it? It's like sort of how do we interpret this character? What tools can we use? What skills can we use? What are they made out of? How do you put them together?
So they were all customized to fit Flora's face. So first of all, I got a mold of her cheeks so you can do it two ways. You can do a cast with if you've ever been to the dentist and you get your teeth molded, it's alginate powder that you mix with water, and then you could mold the face. So you can do the whole face, you can do the whole head, or anything that you want to make a prosthetic with. And then there's also another way of doing it, which if sort of flat area, you can get cling film and then draw around, so you know exactly what the shape is, and then you put that onto a board and sculpt whatever it is that you're going to make, in this case acne scars and acne pimples. And then you have to make that very, very, very thin, because less is more. Even though you want people to be able to see the scarring, you don't want it to look like a cartoon, or you want people to believe that it's real and not go, oh, is that lady wearing makeup?
Absolutely. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm just going to just work out, have we got the best view? Is that a better view?
Yeah, exactly. And then after that, you make a mold. So you have to make a silicone piece, which is what will be refilled every single time that we used it on set. Mm-hmm. So you make these silicone pieces, or you pour silicone over the top of the sculpts, and then you have tiny little, I don't have any that I can show, otherwise that would fine. They get refilled with it's called Bondo paste, and then you match that to the color of whoever you're putting it on, and then you put it in a food dehydrator. So we had this big machine on the table
Wow.
all day. We had to keep doing different, every time that we used the molds, we would have to refill the molds, and then they would take a couple of hours to dry or set. So we'd put them back in the machine again and have them on the table or anywhere we could find to put them, because we'd need to use them again the next day.
Yeah.
So that was the process of making the prosthetics. And then after that, it was a whole nother story to put them on Flora.
Straight after the shoot. So she'd sort of do it really, really quick, like, done. And then she'd be out the door. Yeah. Amazing.
And Bondo is very, very sticky. And actually, if you make it into a prosthetic, that's a different process, but that is a lot easier to get off, but it's not as realistic, and you can't just stick them on. You have to, it's a different kind of sticking on. You've got to blend the edges. There's so much more to it. So Bondos were really good for them to last all day and not peel off. But then at the end of the day, that was the problem.
Then you've got to get it off. Yeah, I think she did extremely well. I mean, I'm so proud of what she did with the character.
So many different styles.
This evolution.
Yeah.
And what's your sort of couple of memories of the shoot itself?
Yeah.
I've got the footage. I've got the actual film footage, but then behind the camera, I mean, there was so much going on. And so...
Yeah, I would say the same, but also just having a lot of fun. Like, it was just fun to watch what was happening. I think there was a day where there was people crying on set because we were just going, oh, they just play so well together, and they look so great. And yeah, it was, I would say that was a good moment to have everyone watching the scene, and just, even though we were crying, it was just tears.
It was
of like,
very, very emotional. It's an incredible scene, and I remember I said it has to be real. It has to be real, because we've got a lot of high concept stuff in the film, but there was sort of my Ken Loach moment where it was like, no, we have to make this real and bring the audience back to earth, because there's a lot going on with it. Daria was 6 weeks old.
Yeah, so tiny.
There's a great photograph of you with Daria on mum's lap, and you're applying makeup.
Yes.
And the whole...
I was scary. I was so scared then.
Yeah, and you've got a tiny little baby. You've got all this cast and crew around. You can hear a pin drop. When the baby starts crying, everybody's like, oh my goodness. I am a dad. I've got a 5-year-old. So I remember, my son's birth as if it was yesterday. So when I wrote it into the script, you sort of go, oh, let's do this, and then when you're doing that scene, it's sort of, you have a flashback to when my wife Kira giving birth. So yeah, it's very, very powerful day.
Yeah, it was, definitely. And I that was something that I learned, because I'd never put makeup on a baby before. Or makeup, we weren't allowed to use any makeup because it had to all be food. So we used jam and KY
jelly. No, absolutely. We had to be very, very careful. Obviously, of course, there are very strict guidelines, very strict rules you've got to follow to the letter. But everybody, this photograph of you sort of getting the baby ready for the shots, it's unbelievable. It really is.
Yeah, I remember it as a really scary moment, but now if I haven't done it again since, but if I had to do it again, I would at least now know what I can use.
Where did you train to do prosthetics?
So I went to London College of Fashion and did a BA in hair, makeup and prosthetics for performance. So that covered, all of that, everything: makeup, straight makeup, prosthetic makeup, hair, a bit of mold making. Yeah. But I guess props as well. It wasn't really part of the course, but you could make props. So I did that for 3 years, and then dived headfirst into freelance makeup.
Yeah.
And now I'm a trainee at a company called BGFX, and they make prosthetics for quite big films and TV shows. So
amazing.
it's good to be learning from them, definitely.
Absolutely. And his interest in the wonders of hair, makeup, prosthetics, you know, what would you do? What advice would you give? Any words of encouragement?
I would definitely say to do a course. You would have to do a course. It would be very difficult to get into the industry if you didn't have a degree or just a year course of some sort of makeup or prosthetics. And then while you're doing that, if you can do as many short films or any free work, because you need to practice and you need people to see what you can do so you can build a portfolio, also to make really good contacts. It's all word of mouth, really.
Yeah, it's talent and luck and who you know, and a few other bits and pieces. Yeah. Well, pleasure to work with. Make it feel like an interview now. Absolute pleasure to work with, Abi. Thanks for taking the time to talk slammer, prosthetics, babies covered in jam, and can't wait to show you the film on the 10th of September.
I'm very excited. Thank you for having me. It's been great.